Well, we're taking a live look at temperatures across the Mid-South here so far this morning, almost in the afternoon, already in the 90s in Oxford. So far nowhere else, but very shortly I think we are going to cross over into that point, as right now we are looking at around the same sort of temperature readings as yesterday at this time, though we are seeming to be at least a little bit cooler in terms of the heat index measurement, only 100 in Clarksdale. I believe yesterday at this time we did have multiple spots above 100 and 97 only in Memphis. I believe that's one of the few spots that is currently staying the same, but that really will, I think, sum up the forecast today. The difference from yesterday, slightly less oppressive. Oppressively hot and humid, but still high enough to where the weather impact alert is continuing. A heat index of at least 105 degrees is expected for most, if not every community here across the Mid-South region, and that's going to put the feels like temperature higher than what the actual record temperature is for this date, set back in 1954, 102. I think we'll all be feeling at least like that, probably a bit higher. I would say the baseline being maybe 104 or so. 96 today, though, is going to be that actual temperature here in Memphis. 92 is the average. So in terms of being that far above average, it's not that much hotter than usual for this time of the year, but the humidity is definitely something that is, again, a bit more reserved for, say, the end of this month, or late July, early August kind of shift, those dog days of summer. But we're getting a bit of an early preview here this time around, as we do have that heat index still possibly getting up to 111 in some spots. At least that is the text that's paired with that heat advisory, these counties in orange. But as you can see, we also have in those magenta purple colors a heat warning, which does show, or at least include in its description, a possibility of getting up to around 112 in some spots. So only a very minor difference there, but it is, again, notable just to see which spots may end up being a little bit more humid than others. I think those of us in Mississippi maybe just being slightly less so is a sign of rain chances that are still expected tonight in some capacity, but it's probably going to be a bit less widespread, a bit weaker if any thunderstorms form than yesterday. It'll provide us with some temporary relief, but the best way to make sure we are staying safe in this heat is by staying hydrated, taking breaks indoors, comfortable clothing, all of the usual summer weather tips that we try to advise everyone to take during heat waves. This time around, though, 105 plus, it will be necessary to try and do these a little more consciously, a little more frequent than we usually do. Clouds and radar showing clear skies for the moment. Last night we did have a few storms move across mostly Mississippi, but here in Memphis we actually did manage to get at least a sort of decaying thunderstorm, some heavier downpours in a few neighborhoods, including downtown, and then in parts of Mississippi mostly is where we did actually have some fairly impressive totals. Oxford at half an inch, a little over an inch in those green colors you can see just around the southern edge borders of Coahoma, Lafayette, and Panola counties. In Tennessee, especially in Arkansas, though, staying relatively dry. Of course, Memphis, one of those few exceptions. We got a little bit of a heavier downpour just around sunset, but the forecast today does not have any sort of additional or any sort of increase in the intensity of storms. I think it's less likely, but still probably a few showers, especially around Mississippi, are what we can expect, with possibly seeing another sort of round of that Friday evening. It's not necessarily yet going to be indicative of higher rain chances on a day-to-day basis, as I do think Saturday at least remains mostly dry here through the daylight, through the evening hours. Maybe a little bit of a rain chance in the morning, early afternoon, as we are hopefully going to be staying dry. It's what it looks like right now for evening festivities, those fireworks, with maybe a little bit of some cloudy skies in a few areas, but generally I think things are going to cooperate, and then rain chances become a bit more consistent. But as you can see, not all that much higher on a day-to-day basis heading into next week. And I do want to note again, we do have a severe weather threat here. We did yesterday, and that ended up turning into a watch for some areas in Mississippi. Fortunately, we did not see any severe weather, technically speaking, or warnings out of that. Some heavier downpours. I think that's pretty much the case today. We'll sort of have maybe some heavier storms which in the midst of heat waves like this do manage to have sort of a higher risk of some torrential rainfall. We did see that yesterday, and so any storms that do form today, which again will probably be less frequent than last night, are going to be maybe containing some heavier downpours. So preparing ourselves for that here if we do find ourselves caught in one, driving around or even just outdoors. Mostly cloudy for tonight. I think any sort of thunder and lightning like yesterday in Memphis will clear out around sunset, and we're looking at calm conditions as we wake up on our Friday, as highs will still be in the mid-90s, but the weather impact alert will expire at that point, as the heat index should be below 105 for most of the area. Around the century mark, 100 for Saturday, as again, we are expecting maybe just a few little showers, a brief thunderstorm or two in the morning and early afternoon, with the nighttime period there, I think, looking good for festivities. And then over the course of next week, we'll eventually have a heat index more in line with the actual temperature. It will come at the cost of more rain chances on a day-to-day basis, but nothing right now that looks severe. I think it would certainly be a worthwhile trade-off after the heat we've experienced thus far.